Well, this government, the so-called coalition, and David Cameron running it, who don't know to run a piss-up in a brewery, is a cruel, mean government who attacks the poor, who he robs from the poor to give to the rich. If you're in the middle class, maybe you could be moaning because possibly you're being squeezed. But the very people on the breadline, genuine people, not people who's playing the game or trying to play a game or fiddle the country, but the genuine people whose one-parent families, who's on the breadline, who can't find a job because there is no jobs to have. And also, of course, the disabled. The most vulnerable disabled people in this country is being attacked by this country, by this government, and put through a degrading test. And even if they can't walk, they're in a wheelchair or whatever, they fail the test, and the only reason they're failing, they're not failing because they've got professional people who analyzes them. It doesn't matter about the medical evidence. The only aim of this government is to take the money and to stop them, but is very quick to give tax relief to the very rich and to make sure that the rich people survive and get richer from the poor. There is no boundaries of this government's cuts, no boundaries or no morals. Purely a cruel government, and people sit back, and if you cannot see what's happening in front of your eyes, then it's a very sad state of affairs. Something needs to be done. And all of us, including the senior citizens of this country, the disabled, the working class people, who's generally on the breadline, who cannot find a job because there is no jobs around, needs to make a stand. And we have great power with our voting rights, and also with our time to protest now in a peaceful way. Time is running out for this government very fast. All they are considering is themselves. How many of these people is actually ever, as MPs, ever experienced to be a working class person, to be hungry, not to have enough money to heat their own, or be disabled, where the quality of life is diminishing. Some of them are dying and have very little time left with very small faculties, or even some of their limbs don't work. And these people have been forced into stress, worry, and this is causing, and it will cause, a lot of people to end their lives because they won't be able to cope. You people with children or with families and your husband's on the breadline, or if you're a one-parent family, all the talk about money is going to give for the childcare is hot wind, my friends. It's not really, it's only a political gimmick. Now, if you wait to this year, not only April, but the next coming cuts, the attack on the poor people, on the lower class people, will be attacked again. They will be attacked till they revote. And one thing we must do is do something about it. The bedroom tax, or so we'd like to say a subsidy, because you've got an extra room. But if you've got an extra room, you live in a big house, and there's places where you can move to, all well and good. And social housing, there's very limited stock. Very limited stock because Maggie Thatcher and the Tory government, once again, the old bag, sold them all off the rights to buy. Good at the time, but not good for people of this country. And once again, whilst I'm on the question of mentioning this country, unfortunately, is now under the European law. We don't really exist other than what the European Union tells us. And also, its government thinks more of other countries by sending billions of pounds to other countries instead of putting his own people right. They promise something to us. They're a hot wind, my friends. They only say it so they can get the votes. Those they can blame somebody. They blame the state of the country onto Labour. But remember one thing, it was the banks what destroyed this country as well. Their massive bonuses and everything what they're given. I'd like to see Cameron and his friend Nick Clegg and all the other road puppets up there live like we do, or some of us do on the breadline, and they would understand how real people live, not how to line their own pockets whilst they're MPs. To me, I am not proud to be English anymore. Or as it says on the forums, you've got to be British. But I'm not proud to be English anymore because this country is finishing. We are no longer in a country which we can be proud of. And unfortunately, the same for our soldiers and the military, all the young people coming back from Afghanistan and other places in body bags. And yet they're treated like nothing when they come back other than being sacked and told they have got to vacate their houses. They cannot claim disablement because they can have new limbs. It's just totally running out of control. I say to you now, do something before it's too late. Otherwise, most people in this country will be just like Charles Dickens. We'll be out begging. There'll be more crime. Once again, the police are being affected. And they make out because they put a few specials on the streets and community officers who basically can detain you like one of us could on a citizen's arrest. That's about it. Anyway, I'm not going to rant on, but this is how I feel, and I'm sure most of this country, or the people in it, the elderly, the working class, the working people, who's on the breadline also. Thank you.